Welcome to the Christian and Daniel Show.
It's about to get real, well, you know the deal. You won't have to guess how either of them feel. Bringing up the things you don't think to know. Never knowing where the conversation will go. Just a little more than anything goes. It's a Christian and Daniel Show.
Hello, I'm Christian.
And I'm Daniel.
And this is the Christian Show. I'm Christian and...
Man, you're good. You're getting good. I'm going to give you credit.
And I guess it is the Christian Show tonight, everyone. Yay, I love me.
Oh, my God.
As you can see from my well-maintained, intelligently decorated home, I'm at home. And Daniel is where he is. In his home with a beautiful picture by his sister Nancy, who does have an Etsy, by the way. So you can see beautiful art like that too yourself.
And she is producing some great stuff. For everybody watching, hi, welcome. This is the Christian and Daniel Show. Thank you for joining us. We've been off the air for a couple of weeks dealing with some personal stuff, and we'll get more into that a little later. We want to welcome everybody who's watching on Facebook and Twitter, because LinkedIn is having issues tonight and is not running.
It always has issues. Every other show.
But for those of you watching us on YouTube, do us a favor, scroll on down, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That'll let you know whenever we have a new episode showing. But we're back. Not to start this show on the low, but one of the reasons, and we want to, I hope we want to dedicate this episode to him and his family. For those of you that have heard us talk about Mr. Kevin Moyers, my producer from Put It Together podcast and my publisher, he passed away a couple of weeks ago, October 17th, Sunday. And so I was dealing with that and going to the memorial, and so that's why we weren't on the air for a couple of weeks. But this show is dedicated to him. And in case his brother, Mr. Jeff Moyers, is watching, it was great meeting you under the circumstances. But Mr. Moyers will continue with the show anyway, so we are continuing in his honor. So
the show must go on.
The show must go on, babe. The show must go on.
It does, as does everything else, unfortunately.
Well, good news. Somebody started a new job.
I don't know who.
I don't know
who. I know. Now, I started a part-time tutoring gig with this company called Paper, and I'm in the training process right now, and just working through that. You know, today is my usual day off with them, so I'm just kind of following my schedule with them that I had set up, and it'll be interesting to see where it goes. It certainly doesn't. Well, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. It's kind of nice to have some money coming in from somewhere, something.
Well, I'm very proud of you for starting a new job, and it's always exciting and fun and interesting. And further down the line, we'll have to do a whole episode on what you do. And
I'll have a better idea by then. Yeah, because it's a platform. There's like nothing familiar about this process that they do. It's like completely foreign to me. So I'm like, okay, and it's all in chat rooms. There's no video, thank God. So I can just look a mess and my brain will be fine.
If everybody watching, remember, you can join the conversation. Please make your comments and ask your questions and join us. What else is going on? Halloween passed.
And it did. Uneventfully. People, there aren't many holidays I get very hyper about, nor care about, to be honest. The environment I was raised in just didn't support any type of joy being associated with these, except for because I'm a compulsive overeater. I'm a recovering compulsive overeater. Of course, the one holiday that I always loved and I have very fond memories of is Thanksgiving, which is coming up and is right around my natal birthday. I think my birthday's after Thanksgiving this year because it was on Thanksgiving last year.
Yeah, your birthday's on Friday and
The day after, right?
Thursday. Yeah.
And I have really good memories of being up in Oroville with my family and Sue and my Aunt Jane, God rest her soul, and Uncle Lee and my dad and my mom. Man, when my mom, Aunt Jane, and Sue got together, those women can cook. And I mean cook, like good. Like I walk in the kitchen and slap my mama and say, that's really good. That's slap your mama good.
Say, what y'all cooking?
I love this story because it's a story as long as my brain's working, I'll remember for as long as I live. It was my cousin Sue, and I've told you this, Dan, you've heard this. One year we had, I'm not a ham person. I don't like ham, but we had pork. I'm starting to realize there's a difference between ham and pork, even though it's the pig, but there's just a difference. I guess the way it's just different. Well, we had this big mound of pulled pork on a plate, and it was delicious. And I'm like, this is the best pork I've ever eaten. Everyone's going on. Everyone had triple, quadruple servings of it. My cousin had servings. Oh, it's so good. Everyone's like, it's so good. And I think my Uncle Lee said, this is the best damn pig I've eaten in a long time. And I don't know why I'm giving him an accent. He did not have an accent. I love to do it. I keep thinking like Oroville.
All of a sudden, Uncle was Dukes of Hazzard.
I'm from the Dukes of Hazzard. Daisy Duke was in there eating her pig. And my cousin John looks up and goes, "Yeah, this pig was really good. We bought her at the fair last year and fattened her up, and here she is." He didn't bother telling his wife, my cousin Sue, that this was her pet pig, whatever her name was, that we were eating, because she didn't realize she was bought to be eaten. So she had named her, loved her, coddled her, and then she was slaughtered. and we had her for a Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner, in addition to the turkey. So, and it was good. Like I did not know that fresh kill, that's what it tastes like. I'm like, ooh, I could kill a pig every year and I'd be happy with that on the table. I don't know how to kill a pig, but I'll let someone else kill the pig, but I want the fresh kill. It was good. It is still to this day the best pork I've ever eaten.
I've seen a fresh kill
Huh?
pig. I've seen a fresh kill. It's not pretty.
No, but they're delicious once they're cooked.
They are. Wilbur does taste nice after he.
Well, it made me think about my mom, how she grew up on a farm, and she used to go out and she'd kill the chicken for dinner, pick the chicken, kill it, and I've heard other stories about other animals on the farm, and she would tell me, that chicken, she goes, you don't know because you're in this, you didn't grow up in the world I did. She goes, but that is the best tasting chicken you will ever have.
Yeah.
Fresh kill.
For
Apparently, anything fresh kill is really good.
For those of you watching, if you ever grown up, been to know anybody on a farm, fresh
Even
kill,
fresh eggs.
any fresh kill is like way better than
Yeah. Like I've never in my entire life I've never had a farm fresh egg. I've had boxes that say they're farm fresh.
I thought didn't somebody give you fresh eggs at some point?
No, Wendy gave me some eggs that are very organic and super close to that, but they tasted different. They looked different. They still weren't that. Like I need to go to the farmer's market where they sell them where they're not being refrigerated because that's the real eggs. Because I didn't know that, but I thought the reason I've never bought them at the farmer's market is because I'm like, they're rotten. You just have them out in the sun sitting there. I had no clue that real eggs don't need to be refrigerated. Well, they don't need to be refrigerated
For as long.
because, like, hello, the chicken lays the egg and they sit on it. It's not like it goes bad under the chicken. So they go, you don't need to refrigerate it till you take it home. But they go, have at least 2 or 3 eggs before you refrigerate them, because they go, they're the most flavorful because literally these people, they have chickens in their backyard and they are picking, they're taking these things to the market. So that's what I haven't done yet, because I kept thinking these eggs are bad because I didn't know any better. I didn't know that eggs could sit out and they're fine in the sun and fine being out for quite a while, actually.
We're gonna have to go to the Culver City.
Yeah, the farmers work on Tuesdays.
On Tuesdays.
Because they always have someone selling the farm fresh eggs.
Oh, and then I can make you one of those omelets.
Daniel makes these omelets that I guess his mom used to make. I don't know if it's a Mexican omelet. I don't know what it is, but
I've never seen anybody else make that.
I've never seen anyone do it either. And he makes it in a big pan and he thins it out almost like a crepe. Like the egg almost becomes like a crepe thin. It's very thin. He puts ham. For me, he puts ham and cheese, the gringo version, ham and cheese and stuff in it. And then he rolls it almost like a burrito.
Yeah.
I gotta say it like burrito, like I know what the F I'm saying. Burrito. He rolls it like a burrito and puts it on the plate. And I folds the ends in too. And then he adds a little more cheese for me because I'm very gringo on the top. It is so simple. And sometimes, and for him, I guess in his he puts beans. I just can't do beans for breakfast.
Yeah, mine has.
I'm a little too white for that. But he puts beans in his, and it looks delicious though. And then
when we have leftover carne asada,
that's what you do. And then we do our homemade from scratch salsa on top. I could eat all morning. I could eat this. Like he could keep making them, and I will just keep eating them. I will not stop. It is. I think it triggers my compulsion because it's so delicious. It makes you like there's joy. This is joy energy that comes from eating because it's so delicious, and it just like I feel like my whole body's vibrating. So it is so good. They are so good. We have not had those in ages. So we need to,
but maybe I'm going to be up there Tuesday, so maybe I'll go to the market and get some eggs.
Yeah.
I wanted to show. We were talking about Halloween before we move on from that.
Oh my God. And lately I've been seeing all these great food things on TikTok. It's been making me just crazy. I'm like, oh, why aren't they around the corner? Why aren't they downtown?
We need to go venture. But I wanted to show the picture from my first ever Halloween wedding that I did readings.
Oh, yeah.
For anybody, this is not, I can't take credit for everything because the client put up the tent and the color scheme. Mine are the candles and the psychic thing in the back. And of course, my reading cloth, but it was a steampunk
wedding. Halloween wedding.
Halloween wedding, yeah, and
crazy,
really great. It was fun. It was fun.
And you said there were some real, like some people really went all out steampunk, hardcore, like cosplay type stuff, and then you said some people were mild, and some people weren't even in.
Some people were like wearing Halloween.
Like regular, yeah,
like a demon, and then some guys, mostly the guys, had like the glasses.
Oh yeah,
that they wear and like really nice vests and jackets. So most of the ladies were dressed in black. The bride was in black. Wow. And then she had this, like somebody had cut her, so she had like blood dripping down from her throat. Yeah, it was really disgusting.
Oh my God. No.
When I first, because I didn't meet them when I got there. It wasn't until she wanted a reading and then came over to where I was, to the tent. And when she turned around, I just saw like the paint, just like somebody cut. And then her husband was dressed like a count, kind of like.
Oh, like so it wasn't really steampunk.
He wasn't very steampunk, but
yeah, that's not.
But they were a cute couple, and it was fun. So for anybody who's interested, I do events.
And he would have to be the biggest douchebag on the planet if he ever forgets their anniversary.
Right? How do you
Halloween, dude? Every year for the rest of your lives, your married lives, you will throw a Halloween party to celebrate your anniversary and Halloween. Yeah. That's what they got themselves into. All their friends will be like, when are we coming over on Halloween night? Because it's your anniversary. No excuses.
No excuses. Yeah.
Can't be all, well, this year we're not celebrating. Oh, really? So you're not celebrating your wedding. Your wedding is not worth celebrating.
Yeah, you can't
forget. We got you.
Honestly, I won't forget that. party. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've done readings at a lot of parties, but this is the first Halloween wedding, so it's really kind of cool.
That's really it's neat. The blood thing, just not into that.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
I'm sure it
So,
looked good. People,
we're gonna show up first because we
gotta-
have two
you
videos
gotta-
to show you today.
We do, but that just reminds me that no matter what, you gotta do what you want to do in this world. And who cares what everyone else's opinions are none of your business. So who cares? Like
Everybody seemed to have a great time at the wedding, so it was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, you only get to do that. Well, you get to do it as many times as you want, I guess, but in today's world, but
You only get to do it once.
hopefully you're doing it just once. And this is, enjoy it. Have fun. I'm glad that they did what they wanted. She did what she wanted. And they'll always remember it fondly rather than like, oh, we did this like traditional white wedding.
Yeah, but I met some really cool people, so I'm curious to see how many stick around. So for everybody watching, thank you for joining us. This is the Christian and Daniel Show. We're back. We took a couple of weeks off, and if you missed why, go back and watch them from the beginning. But we have two TikTok videos for today. Should I show the slingshot one first?
Slingshot? Oh, I only saw the first one. I think you should do the first one because that one's like a public service announcement.
Okay, so this will carry on a conversation because this is actually something that I do. So
I do not. I do what he's saying to do.
This is from here.
Coral.
This is why you should not make the bed first thing in the morning. So you don't want your bed to look like this in the morning. You want it to look more like this. And that's because you can trap dust mites in your bed. These are microscopic bugs that actually love to feed on humans and they produce allergens. They love beds because they're moist and warm, and by you making your bed, you're trapping up to 1.5 million of them. By leaving your bed unmade for at least an hour or so, you're letting the sun and air hit them, thus drying out and killing them.
Hello. That was like a good morning. I saw that this morning. I'm like, good morning. And I looked in my room and I go, oh, my bed's not made. I'm killing them. All the bugs are dying.
See, and I have such an issue.
Almost a pathological need.
Huh?
I said, you almost have a pathological need to make the bed in the morning.
I do.
Because he even makes his side of the bed, folks, while I'm still sleeping on my side. He literally
Not always. Shut up.
I said almost always.
Almost. But okay, so I'm gonna tell the story so that it makes sense. So for those of you that have known me for a while, know that I went to rehab almost 15 years ago. So in rehab,
Almost 50 years ago?
15 years ago. So in rehab, you couldn't go down to breakfast until your bed was made. So that's part of the rules. Like you wake up, first thing you do is make your bed, and then you go into the bathroom, wash up or whatever, go down for breakfast. And that was the rule. So for 15 almost years, that has been my rule. I can't function well if the bed is not made, especially if I'm at Christian's house, because from where I sit to do my work, if I look over, I can look in the bedroom and I can see that the bed is not made. Now, yes, you would argue, then don't turn around. Shut up. No, that doesn't work. I still have to turn around and see the bed. So if it's not made, I can't work well. So I have to go make the bed.
So that's where the pathological part comes in.
Shut up. Well, I mean, it's just like you picking up napkins after me when I'm done eating.
Yeah, dirty napkins is the same thing as making a bed.
Unmade bed is just as nasty. But so I had issues with this video.
Apparently, a made bed is nasty. And
I had issues with this video because although I agree, because remember when now for people, I am not a dirty person, and the bed bugs came. I'm not a dirty person. Do not make that face.
No, you're not.
It came from.
And I knew what you were referring to.
It came from a photo shoot that I went to, and my bag got infested.
To this
from
day,
the couch that I put my bag on.
It was, yeah, it's like to this day, I cannot think, I would never fathom bed bugs would be in a studio setting. There's like.
Well, no, this was a person's house, and it was
and you put it on their couch, and that's where they got into your garment bag.
Right.
And then were they
and then they went
prolific.
Yeah.
Those little beggars reproduce like mad.
But yeah, I keep me and my house clean. That it's messy, I will never deny. My apartment's always messy, but it's not dirty. But this particular photo shoot that I went to, the couch that I put my bag on, like that, immediately got infested with bed bugs.
Well, and that's why they really caution you. Like when you go to all these different hotels, they go, do not put your stuff on the floor. Do not leave your bag, like your suitcase, on the floor, because that's where they walk across the carpet and go right into your bag. It's so crazy that it's basically the floor. Because when the guys came to do the extermination, the biggest thing they kept repeating was, don't put stuff on the floor. Like if you take off your clothes, don't just throw them on the ground. Put them in the hamper. Everything needs to have its place, and it can't just be thrown on the floor. Do not just throw this on the floor. And they said to get whether you have bed bugs or not. Well, obviously you don't want to have bed bugs and do this, but they have special covers that zip shut, and the zippers are made so that bed bugs can't crawl through them or into them because they're really tiny and they really can't get everywhere. And you basically wrap your mattress and wrap your what's the second part? The box spring in these specialized anti-bed bug cases. That way you don't have to worry about them infecting your bed and getting to you. And if they are in your bed, these things are white. You'll see when it's inevitable that you're going to kill some of them after they feed, and you'll find the blood marks on the white. That's why they're bright white. And they say to keep them really clean. That way, if there's something going on. Yeah, and anytime I do my and they don't bed, anytime I change my bedding, I always look on the. But yeah, you learn, and that's why I'm very careful when I go on shoots now. Yeah. And it's usually the same garment bag that I take. Because that really means that person's house, the entire house is infested. Like it might have been because you went in the house. It's unavoidable. Yeah. That you would have picked up brought them home. Because if it's that bad that you set it on a couch, and that's bad. And admittedly, they were in Daniel's couch too. They got in the couch. Well, obviously, because you're moving around from bed. Exactly. Like we don't even realize we're transferring them around. So it's for somebody like me that works from home a lot. Mm-hmm. Get up from bed. You might change clothes. Sometimes I just wash up and stay in my boxers. You're bringing all that with you. So anyway, folks, just pay attention to that. It's just be aware. So there's one thing. There's something that I've been. You talked about Thanksgiving, something that always happens at Thanksgiving. And my question to you, to everybody watching, of God. What? Holy Mary, Mother God, it felt like something like a hot needle just went in my right eye. You know when I pointed at you? Yes, you zombie. That's crazy. So the question is, it felt like a needle went right in my eye. It hurt like a hot needle. Whatever it is, who spirits, go away, leave me alone. So the question is, stuffing or dressing for your turkey? What's the difference? Aha! I didn't think there was a difference till I looked it up. I thought it was the same thing. But stuffing obviously is when you stuff the turkey, when you put all the stuff in the turkey. Stuff it in. Yeah, and it cooks at the same time. Which technically you're not supposed to do anymore. Dressing is when you cook all that stuff in the oven. It's separate, like stovetop. Yes. You make it in the oven and you don't actually have it. It's never in the turkey. So the stuff that they put in the turkey, which you're not supposed to do anymore because they say it's a super high salmonella risk. If you don't cook it right, you can get sick. And they say it's really hard to cook it right, apparently, because they really made a point of saying technically you're supposed to kind of cook it, pre-cook a little bit, and then it's just it's a risky thing, no matter because regardless of that, whatever you do for me, absolutely hands down, is, what is it? Dressing or
Stuffing or dressing?
stuffing. For me, it's dressing because it's baked.
You like it on the side. So for
I like
those
it
of
on
you who are watching right
with
now,
gravy.
do you like, now that Thanksgiving is coming, and some people do turkeys for Christmas too. I know we used to do them in my family.
Oh yeah, we used to do it too. We love
For your turkeys,
because I don't like ham.
do you prefer to stuff your turkey or do you like to make the dressing on the side? I like it I like stuffing. I like the stuffing because it captures all the juices.
It gobbles up all the.
It gobbles up. It captures all the juices from the turkey. So it's just that. But basically, it's just, what is it?
Yeah, and I've always found the stuffing is always a little more. It's more liquidy. It's a little more gummy.
Moist.
Yeah, it's moist. It's very moist, Morty. Moist.
Where the dressing can be a little
this
dry.
Stuffing is moist that you took out of that turkey.
And because
But
it's
not-
just, what is it, the trilogy of celery, onions, and carrot,
and celery, onions, carrots, and breadcrumbs.
bread, and butter.
And
That's
a lot of times they say you're supposed to get a fresh baguette and rip it up. And that's the best way to do it. Because I just remember the stuff that was in would always be it's always tastier, of course. And but it's always a lot more moist. Moist.
moist.
Moist.
I like my stuffing moist.
I like being stuffed in me moist.
But yeah, so that's usually the big controversy.
I love
Season.
the other one, fresh cranberry sauce or
Canned.
canned. That's a big one too, because a lot of people, I love the fresh with the actual cranberries and everything. I love that because to me it tastes better when I make the sandwich later on. It's funny. Thanksgiving, I always look forward to the sandwiches you ate after the turkey sandwiches you made later on in the evening when you're hungry again, as opposed to the actual formal meal. I love all the stuff in the formal meal. Don't get me wrong, but I think those sandwiches are so exquisite. My Aunt Jane, she made a turkey sandwich, a cranberry turkey sandwich with stuffing and everything. It would make my toes curl. It was so good. And you know what? You've seen me try to make it myself, hon, and it just isn't the same. I don't know what magic my mom and my Aunt Jane had. Those sisters, whenever they made something, I've never been able to duplicate it.
Well, that's why we get now when we're home, we get our Thanksgiving
Oh my God.
and our New Year's
And our New Year's.
from George
Believe it or not, from a steakhouse. But they
because
make the most,
they do the fresh cranberry sauce.
yeah, I mean, they make the most incredible Thanksgiving meal I think I've ever had, next to the meals I remember from childhood.
So for people who ask us to their house for Thanksgiving, it's not that we don't want to go. Okay, partially because we don't want to leave out because we're in pajamas pretty much all day long. Yeah, we're in pajamas all day long, and then the only reason we leave the house is to pick up the food, bring it back, because we pick it up about noon on Thanksgiving Day, and come back to the house in our pajamas, and that's it.
Like anything that we need to put in the air fryer, we put in the air fryer to reheat it. We always, there's always stuff you have to reheat because they make it fresh. The amazing thing is George Petrelli's Steakhouse. They make every part of that Thanksgiving meal from scratch, fresh. None of it is canned. None of it is something you could buy at the store. It's incredible, and it is the turkey. Everything is so good.
I think we need to celebrate somebody's birthday coming up.
Oh, that's right. Hey, I'm all for it. I want my Brontosaurus rib or Brontosaurus prime rib with the prime rib.
They do make a good prime rib there. I'm not big on the prime ribs.
Naked with the bone in. I love it because you can literally pick it up and slap someone with it.
If you've never been to George Petrelli's in Culver City, it is like going back to the 70s, 60s. From
like
the decor
black
to the service to the way they serve the food. They're one of the few places that I go to that still does the cream corn.
Yeah, and you don't get to change anything. It is not like a typical LA restaurant. Oh, can I get that without this? And oh, does that have gluten? They're like, get out. You're in a steakhouse. We don't play that. You don't want gluten. You need to not be eating steak. You know, another place I picture that would be just like George Petrelli's is that one place that said they were closing, John something.
Oh, John's, yes.
It's another steakhouse. And it was supposed to be closing like a couple of years ago, and it's never closed. It stayed open the whole.
Yeah, Dear John's on Culver Boulevard. So for anybody who's familiar with Culver City, as soon as you get off the 405 and turn right into Culver Boulevard, it's almost right there in the first corner by Sepulveda.
It's behind a gym.
It's next to Sepulveda Boulevard, I think.
Yeah, it's Sepulveda's the corner. There's a gym, and they're right behind the gym.
The story about Dear John's is that at the end of 2019, going into 2020, they made this big hoo-ha announcement that they were closing, that their last meal was going to be New Year's Eve 2019 to go into 2020.
And the newspapers even covered it, like saying Culver City history is coming to an end. I mean, it was the biggest closing, like, because it's been around apparently forever. Yeah. And they were making the biggest deal about it closing. We drive by.
I was going to make his reservations.
Wide open. It never closed.
Yeah, because I was going to make his reservations for before New Year's, not for New Year's.
Yeah.
But we went to Texas that year.
We couldn't do it.
And
I wouldn't mind trying it this year.
But so maybe that'll be your birthday.
Yeah, since we know they're open.
Yeah. Those are two really good old-fashioned steakhouses. We don't know Dear John's, but it's always
I figure it's going to be similar to George Petrelli's, just that old world feeling where before we started worrying about gluten and sugar and is this organic and farm to table and all the stuff we think about now. These places are from a time when no one worried about anything other than the food showing up on the table and that we're able to pay. That's it. And I hope it's good. I've heard nothing but good things about.
Here you go. Seasoned chefs and entrepreneurs Hans Rockenwagner and Josiah Citrin have teamed up to reopen Dear John's April 2019 with an updated classic American menu and old school cocktails.
Basically, so never really closed.
They were going to shut down.
They just transferred ownership.
But they transferred owners because it was like a year-long thing.
Yeah. We're going, we're closing down forever. But changing the owners to getting professional chefs who own it, I'm sorry, it has to be pretty good now. It's still crowded. We drove by and the parking lot was full like it always was. It's always full. So
but if you go online and look at some of their pictures, it's from the story. I remember reading a story about it at first where like some LA mobster folks
exactly. That's where it got
there. So it has that vibe of
that's kind of cool. Like,
and after being in some of these steakhouses in New York, it gives me that vibe.
That's what I was thinking, like East Coast steakhouse type thing. Like the steakhouse we go to in New York when we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
That's good.
I do want to someday when we go back to New York, or when I go back to New York, I'm sure we'll go together, but when I go back to New York, I definitely want to call to that restaurant a day before and reserve my damn prime rib so I can actually experience the prime rib. Yeah. There's this restaurant we go to, and it's so popular. They have their whole meat lockers at the front of the restaurant. You walk by it, it's all glass. It's so cool. And people call and pre-order the prime rib, and so it runs out. Like, we never get there early because we usually do Broadway and then go to the restaurant. And so we've never gotten there when there's been prime rib available, and everyone says their prime rib is like superlative, and it's bone in, so it's the real deal. And you see it hanging in the locker, but all those cuts are reserved already, so people have already made reservations for it. So I am going to call a day ahead and reserve it.
So again, for everybody watching, thank you for joining us. This is the Christian and Daniel Show. I know. Now I'm thinking I have Pollo Loco in the fridge, but I'm thinking Sizzler sounds really good.
I know. I'm like, ooh, a steak.
So now it's time for the funny one because we had that one, but this is from the Sing Song. By the way, I've done this, so
Daniel's done it. He literally had to have this weight put next to him because I'm like, I ain't getting my butt in that thing. Those, you ain't shoot me in the. I don't need to be slingshot anywhere. I'm old. I'm gonna die.
But the video is on YouTube. I have that video on YouTube.
Oh, you do? Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll find it right now. Where
the video of you, right?
Yeah, the video of me is on YouTube.
And Daniel was still pretty. He hadn't fully recovered from his cancer treatments at that time. So
yeah, that was right after surgery too.
Yeah, you were really light.
Yeah.
So they had to put the weight in.
I was very light. What are you trying to say now?
You were emaciated cancer light.
This was 2016. Was it 16? Yeah, 2016, probably. Okay, well, here we go.
Oh my God! My God! Go, bro! Go! You're good. You're good. Bro.
I
like that goofy laugh at the end.
That was like his brain finally accepting where he was at. Like, you're not dead, but you up in the air really high, and we're not going to faint again. We can't handle that. So just accept that you in the air like a crazy person. And I love that Gilbert's hand just appears over the camera for a second, and you don't know.
Shut up, bro! You're making me. I do admit that when I get on Scary Rise like that, I have a cackle. I do have a cackle that comes out.
I wish we should show that video one of these times of you.
My video?
Yeah. Your slingshot video.
Yeah, I'll try and find it for next week.
For like next week or something. Yeah.
It's on YouTube. I know it's on YouTube, but
it's pretty funny because Daniel had to have this like really heavy weight put next to him, and but they do that for single riders because no one else wanted to get on this thing.
Well, remember we got there, we were alone. It was because it was the middle. It's the last day in Orlando.
Yeah, and it was like late morning. Yeah, it was late morning, and it was a weekday. And this was long before COVID, so everyone was at work or doing whatever they needed to be doing, but they certainly weren't at an amusement park like we were.
That was the year we went to Orlando to see Alexa compete.
Yay! And her cheerleading competition, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, you get in there and you're just like, ooh, I'm one of the girls now. I want to cheerlead.
There's nothing.
I wanted to sit with them. I had a big bow in my hair.
There is nothing, if you've never been to a cheerleading competition, number one, they're amazing because what these girls can do is amazing. But second, you can always like look across the room and immediately identify the gay uncles in the room. Oh my God. Because we're all cheerleaders. We're just all like we're just a pom away from joining the squad. Yeah. But you can see across the room, and you're like, yeah, uncle, girl, queen.
I am girl, queen. That's what Daniel and I did. We just walked around. I'd be all queen.
Girl.
And I'd be all queen.
Girl.
And I'm all queen.
Girl.
That's what we did the whole time. And everyone's like, what are they talking about? I'm not a queen. Maybe I'm a girl.
My wife says I'm a man.
I know. My wife told me I look fabulous today.
It's funny. If you've never been to a cheerleading, by the way, if you are in the market for gay uncles, because Alexa's not, I don't think Alexa's cheerleading anymore, but if you're in the market for some gay uncles to come and cheer your kid at cheerleading competitions.
She's the cheerleading captain at her school.
Is she still then?
Yeah, that's when she broke like all those.
That's right.
Really badly broke her.
Okay, well, we're not going to get into our business, but I think she's a senior now.
Yeah. Oh my God, no, is she a senior?
I think so. I lose track of the
Because
kids.
you know who else is? Cameron Brophy, Dave's daughter. She's a freaking senior this year. Class
Yeah,
of
all these
2022.
all these grown-up kids that we've known for years. And
When I met Alexa, she was a little thing running around trying to keep everyone's attention on her, which is why she's a cheerleader, and I just fell in love with her right away. Because I'm all that as a girl after my own heart. Girl,
one queen to another.
everybody. I'm here, over here.
Well, I have pictures with her when she's like tiny. For those of you that,
Taller than you.
yeah, when I would go to Texas, when she was like 4 or 5, anytime I would go to Texas, I would have a movie night with my niece and my great niece. So we would, whatever cartoon movie, animation movie was playing, we would find the theater, and then whoever had the meal, Burger King, McDonald's, whatever, we would go there for dinner after the movie and get the toys
So it would be
of the movie.
it was Beba and Alexa.
Yeah, Beba and Alexa, and I have pictures of them,
Aw,
tiny,
sweet.
tiny little things, and
they're okay. And everyone, you just have to know, like everyone in Daniel's family, they're disgustingly pretty. I mean, they're pretty like where the gay man in me, when I see them, the first thing I want to say is, I hate you. I want to say it to all of Daniel's family. Basically, it's like, I hate you all. I love Daniel, but I hate him too because he's fucking adorable. I didn't mean to cuss. Sorry. He's freaking adorable. But his entire family, even the family from Monterey, are beautiful freaking people.
I do have good looking.
Good looking, and they're oh, I'm so pretty. It's so hard. It's so difficult to be beautiful.
Well, because
Shut
if you see photos of my mom when she was young,
Oh my god!
my mom had that. My mom was like a Mexican Indian. She has that. I have her skin.
Yeah. It's like basically like you just got sun kissed, just the slightest sun kissed. I just got a little sun at the beach.
I wake up and the birds are singing
And
and
I
the
put up my
squirrels are bringing me
parasol.
breakfast.
It is you always look sun kissed. The sun just kissed you is when you wake up.
Buenos dias, Daniel.
Buenos días, Daniel. Daniel, tú es muy bonito.
Gracias.
Gracias, Sol. Gracias.
Shut up. Well, we
But
have
no,
reached that
Daniel's
moment.
family is just some of the prettiest people I have ever encountered in my life. And I love it because you love to hate pretty people because you all had, I know what it's like. Don't you act like I'm suffering because I'm so ugly. Mm-mm. And none of them fat either. None of them fat. Everyone's in pretty decent shape or good shape.
Yeah.
And they're pretty. Okay, yes, there's maybe one exception to that rule in my book, but I still, this person's a fitness freak, so it doesn't really matter. I love them, and just to be able to associate with with a bunch of pretty people is pretty cool. Because I can't say the same. I can say the same on my mom's side of the family, but there's only literally a few left. But on the other side of the family, no, there's no beauty like that. People
Well,
just-
it's about that time of the show now. Are you ready?
Am I here? We are talking about our pick of the week, which Daniel did not say. So I'll say pick of the week. And my pick of the week is We're Here. This is a show where 3 drag queens go to small towns. So the recipe is small town plus 3 drag queens plus local gays and haters. Oy vey. What a recipe that is for a show. And just for entertainment. Eureka, Bob the drag queen, and Shangela are the 3 stars. And guys, these are 3 super drag queen stars, thanks to Mama Ru. And Mama Ru is RuPaul Charles. And they all are graduates of the RuPaul's Drag Race and Drag Race All Stars multiple times, a couple of them. And they slay in this show. They are so good. And the show focuses on local gays in these communities, like small communities like Del Rio, Texas, which I didn't even know existed. The most recent one I'm watching is, well, I can't remember, so I won't say it. But anyway, all these small towns, like I guess Ruston, Louisiana, which is outside of Nolens, but they go to these small towns and they really try to help these people, these gay people in these towns, like kind of come out, and they try to get the community to realize we're not gonna kill you. It's not gonna kill you to just be accepting or tolerating, at least, rather than being hateful. So it's a really great show. Highly recommend it. They're in season 2. It's on HBO and HBO Max.
I'm gonna go check it out.
And because it's HBO, of course, they have huge budgets, so the production is really high on this, production values.
Sweet. Well, my pick of the week is The Five Juanas, or in Spanish, La Venganza de las Juanas, and it's on Netflix. This is a show about 5 women that I get to know each other, meet each other, and they come to realize that they all have the same tattoo and what this come to signify in their lives. It's the first season. It's dubbed. It's not dubbed. It's got captionings in English, so you can catch it. But it's got a pretty good. If you've watched any of the Netflix shows over the last couple of years, especially during lockdown, you'll recognize some of the actresses from other Latino shows. But this was produced in Mexico. It's got a little bit of like police drama. It's a little bit funny. It's very sexual. So I would not recommend it necessarily for younger audiences, but the storyline from the beginning catches your attention to see what's going to happen and where their connection is and what's going to happen. So the show again is called The Five Juanas, La Venganza de las Juanas. It's on Netflix and you can stream it now. It's one of the few shows that actually like has gotten my attention. Like it was one of those. What was it? Monday? Today's Wednesday. Monday was my first real day off in a long time, and I just turned the TV on. I was like, there was all these shows that I've been wanting to watch, and I'm like, so I watched the first episode of like 6 different series just to see if I like them, and I actually liked most of them. So
there's a lot.
Some of my favorites are back, like On the Block and 5 Bedrooms is back on Peacock. So all these shows that had like 1, 2, 3 seasons are coming back, and so it's like, yay.
Well, yeah, and the good thing is now Hollywood's pretty much so back up to speed. Like all these shows are getting shot now. There's no more delays. There's no more craziness. So it's kind of great. Like I love seeing all these shows. But there's apparently, there's a show called The 4400 in 2007, and I thought it was a really great show. It's about all these people who get abducted by a UFO, and then they're brought back. They were abducted before 2007, and then they're brought back to the present day of the show, which would be at that time 2007.
Oh my God, I messed up again. I forgot to click on the stupid button. We had all these comments from friends. I didn't realize them. Hello, Ernesto Aldana. How are you doing, sir? Hi, Bill. Thank you for watching the show. Ross McCurry was here.
Hey, Ross.
Fresh. I'm talking about underwear. We had just.
That's right.
Yeah, that's he's in Canada.
Because
He's in Regina, where they celebrate Thanksgiving.
In the moist Regina.
They have moist turkeys in Regina.
Yeah, apparently, turkeys like Regina.
Me out for dinner when I ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, dude.
Without a doubt. If you come, we'll take you out.
Yes.
I'm sure it was funny because you feel like you're talking to yourself there.
Hey, no name calling, McCurry.
Turkey.
I forget that's stupid. For those of you that watch it,
because I thought it was like, why is it so quiet? Why is
it so quiet today? I was like, what the heck? It's
not. It's because Daniel didn't click the button. They're all piling up there. Now no one's going to communicate because they're like, oh, screw them. They're ignoring us.
But yes, thank you to everybody. We have some people that hadn't been commenting before. So Ernesto and Bill, thank you for watching the show, guys. I just didn't realize. It's because when I do the StreamYard, it doesn't
save your settings.
Yeah, it doesn't let you do public. It does friends only, so you have to go change it. I forgot to go change it. Also, today is November 3rd. Yes. Back in 2018, for those of you that know, I do stand-up comedy. today is 19, 20, 21. Today is 3 years ago that I did my very first stand-up comedy set.
Ooh,
So,
yes.
so thank
Compared to-
you. A big shout out to the folks at Cool Beans Comedy, Mr.
Which
Corey
are?
Craig, and Mr. Matthew Moore, TK Matson, who is part of, who brought me into Rebels of Comedy,
Mhm.
and the Tommy Lama, who is an excellent comic, who was the first person to give me a chance to be his opening act, which I completely sucked. I blew it, I think.
You always think you blow it, but you didn't.
I'm planning on going down to your parts.
Oh,
Hey,
oh.
sir, no, you do not get to come and get into my parts at any time. No, sir.
I'm saying welcome. We look forward to it. In May, we're going to go get some Brontosaurus steaks.
Not for free. You don't get to come into my parts for free, sir. But yes, so
I
today
don't
is
even pretend like what you just said. Like I don't think you heard the full volume of what you said.
3 years ago
That
that I did my
you
first stand-up.
started with
So,
you started your stand-up comic career.
my stand-up career, and ever since then, I've done some.
I gotta
I've
tell
done some
you,
pretty
though,
good shows.
it's like light years from that first show to where he's at today.
What's my price? But ever since then, I've done some pretty good shows. Went back and did the Heritage Month for Cool Beans, and
Mhm.
then
That was really great.
the folks from iPain International. I did their conference 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and then
He's done a virtual conference in between too.
yeah, the
2020.
Mata sisters for the lupus, Looms for Lupus.
It was
I was
tough.
there-
I mean, it's really tough doing Zoom, doing comedy.
Yeah. Well, that was, I mean, we have like 10 minutes, but that was another story in itself, talking about funny comic moments. So Zoom,
It's a unique platform.
tough. And I did a lot of Zoom shows over the lockdown.
You did quite a few. And
Yeah, I
the
got
hard part
invited
is
to
when
quite a few
you
of
can't
them.
hear people laugh or clap.
And so for the Loom for Lupus is a lupus foundation organization, nonprofit. So they were the Mata sisters, Juana and Estela, who are good friends of ours. And hello to all the Mata family.
Hello to all the Mata family.
And so they invited me to do the comedy for their conference. It was a one-day conference. So I'm all prepared, and I have this microphone, which I use for everything, but I got my earbuds and I plugged them into the microphone. So the thing is that people can hear me for some reason.
Because when he plugs his earbuds in, it's using the earbud mic, which
Right.
sucks.
And I didn't change the settings on the computer, so they couldn't hear me. So the first like 3-4 minutes, I'm on this roll and they can barely hear me.
And I'm in the room and I'm trying to stay calm and just say he'll figure it out. He'll get it. But then I'm like, no, he's not going to get it. So someone before me, fortunately, said, we can't hear you. And I'm like, babe, we can't hear you at all. Like you're like,
because everybody was
oh,
muted, and I hear Christian goes, babe, we can't hear you. I'm like, oh. So I start fumbling with the earbuds, and
not
but I don't
realize-
stop
and of
talking.
course, in the heat of the moment, he doesn't realize that's the whole problem is that he's talking through the crummy microphone, inline microphone on the earbuds, and that it's totally cut him off from his microphone.
So
Even though the
I'm
microphone's lit
plugging
up
and
like it's working.
plugging, and but I keep talking. I don't stop. I keep saying
Almost out of panic at this point.
yes, which
No one got it.
everybody starts thinking that this is part of the act. That
Yeah.
my fumbling is
And because
is
I
playing
made
on the Zoom.
and I kept making comments, so they all thought, oh, this is part of their routine. This is part of the show.
So I'm fumbling with the microphone, and then at one point I was like, the Mata sisters have sabotaged my show
Yeah.
because they want all the attention, and they start cracking up because now they really think this is an act to like bring them into my act,
Yeah.
and
It was hilarious.
and
It
then at
actually
some
ended up
point
being
I
really
went.
hilarious.
At some point I'm like, can you hear me now? B5,
Right.
B5,
And people were cracking up.
and I
People
just did that to
laughing.
fill in the space.
and it worked. Like everyone thought that was his routine. That gimmick was part of his set. It was so awesome. It ended up being really good. But that's a testament to how well you handle and can improv from these weird situations. Like you were fully panicked, but it didn't look like it. It looked like you were faking it.
Yeah. So, and even when I was done, I stayed in to listen to the only me.
People
The
were
stuff
like,
that
"He's
only
so
Garza
funny."
can do, and I even recognize that. Like this only happens to you, because I stayed in to listen to the conference afterwards, and they were chill chatting and commenting.
I was there
Like
too. Yeah.
how
How funny
after
you were.
the post chat, the Mata sister was like, "Oh my God, he made that seem like he was really messing up. That is so funny." And to this date, they think I'm acting. To this date, they think that I made it all
That
up.
was the
Like,
set.
that was part of my set.
And I've never said a word. Like I was sitting there like going, these people really believe that that's what he meant to do. So we say nothing. Just let it be that he's super funny and he did a great set. And he did. It was hilarious, actually.
The only problem was that we didn't record it. I wish we had recorded it.
I know. I do too. That would have been really funny. That'd be a good one to share.
But before we have about 5 minutes, but I want to remind all of you to catch us. We have more shows this week. I've been working along the weekends, but we're back. We're back with some conversations this week. So, anyways, Wednesdays, join us here for our show. On Fridays,
is it not Devo anymore? Or are you going to change the name?
I think we're going to stay with the show. We've changed the format a little bit.
Yeah.
But then on this Saturday, I have our friend Shmuel is going to be on our show Friday night.
Really nice guy. Really super great guy.
And then on the noon show, my friend May, who is a caregiver, her son has schizophrenia. So she's been his caregiver almost all his life. So she's going to come on the show to talk about caregiving for somebody with mental health.
That's interesting.
Because it's Mental Health Month too. So
it's interesting because I have a friend who has a son who's also schizophrenic and bipolar and acts out and has violent moments. Like it's a tough one. I'm going to be really interested to hear. I may tell my friend she needs to tune in because she might feel supported or maybe feel like this is someone she can communicate with about the caretaking your own child who has mental health issues.
Yeah. So if you're watching this live today, join us Saturday at noon Pacific Standard Time for a show. I just forgot her last name right now, but May Jepson. I'm going to say Jepson. I just always call her Mrs. May, so I don't know. It's the thing about knowing friends in advocacy, and you get stuck on one name. Like it's always the Mata sisters. Like I know that they have individual names, but it's like the Mata sisters because everybody knows the Mata sisters.
That's actually how you introduced me, so I didn't actually know their names. So we went to their home for that first time.
Yeah, it's like Ross McCreary. If I say anybody Ross McCreary, everybody knows immediately who's Ross McCreary. If I say Ken, people don't know who I'm talking about. If I say Barbie, they don't. But if I say Ken and Barbie, they immediately know who. And like me, if people say, "Do you know Garza?" They don't even have to say the first name. They know immediately who you're talking about. So it's one of those things. But May will be here to talk about her experience caregiving. And then Shmuel, who was actually in the Jerusalem Air Forces.
Israeli.
He was in the military. Israeli military. Israeli military? Okay.
Yeah, that's what
and,
is.
Well, I knew wasn't American.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing that the Israeli society and every single male or female child, when you turn 18, you go into the service and serve a required, I think, 3 years.
Yeah. So he's going to come on the show to talk to us about how he went into real estate.
He had some crazy experiences.
Really good story. We had some tacos with him several months ago.
Oh my God! I guess
such an interesting guy
because the tacos are really good.
Yeah, Venice Beach. I forget the name of the place, but But he has an interesting story. In fact, he went and joined us for tacos. It was the first time he had ever had
a taco. And of course, this place is a little. Let's say it's not the most authentic tacos.
No, but
They're good.
It's
They're
the place
good.
where they have the prickly pear cheesecake.
Yeah, prickly pear cheesecake, which Daniel was like, yes, please. Click down to goodbye.
Yeah, give me 3 lactates. I'll take a piece.
Yeah.
So that was really
It was
good.
really
Well,
good.
we're out of time.
We are at our time, folks.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
It's so good to be back. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It always works out perfect.
I missed you guys. So we will see you here next Wednesday for another episode of Put It Together.
The Christian and Daniel show,
Thank you very
which
much.
you've had trouble since the opening with.
Shut up.
Now you're like, look, you have a stroke.
Anyway, we love you guys.
Do not mean to make fun of anyone. Sorry about that.
No.
That was Daniel's fault.
We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully with a guest, if you would like to be a co-host on the show.
We had Kai.
I
thought we had people scheduled after him.
No, we don't. But I think Mr. McCurry wants to.
Ross wanted to come back on.
He wants
We
to
want you to come back on, Ross.
And Ross, are you coming back on the show?
Yeah.
If you watching want to be a guest co-host on the Christian and Daniel Show, drop us a line, drop us a message on either Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. Let us know you want to be part of the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, do us a favor and scroll down, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and that way you can get notified every time there's a new episode up. Yes, we'll book you. For now, we want to say goodbye and thank you for everybody for watching. We will see you next time. Bye, Dave.
Bye.